You are welcome to my YouTube channel. Stay tuned for real African history and stories. Pass your comment, like and subscribe. The full moon shone over the village of Gandera, casting long shadows across the dusty footpaths. The village was silent except for the distant cries of night creatures and the occasional rustling of wine through the thatched roofs. Inside her hut, Nyorai stirred from sleep, feeling a strange chill in the air. She turned to her husband, Mombo, who lay still beside her. His breathing was not there. His body was cold. Panic seized her. Mombo, she whispered, shaking him gently. He did not respond. She shook him harder, her voice rising in terror. Mombo, wake up. The realization hit her like a boulder, her husband was dead. A scream escaped her lips, piercing the quiet night. Within moments, the villagers, armed with torches, surrounded her home. Chief Gamba, the village leader, arrived with Elder Jemba and others. What happened here? Chief Gamba demanded. I don't know, Nyorai stammered. He was fine last night. I just woke up and... A voice from the crowd interrupted her. Kundai, Mombo's younger sister, stepped forward, her eyes filled with suspicion. She killed him, she spat. A man does not just die in his sleep like this. Not unless his wife has done something. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. Nyorai's heart pounded. No. I would never harm my husband. But the whispers grew louder. Shomba, a wealthy and influential man, shook his head. There is only one way to know the truth. She must face the widow's trial. A cold wave of fear swept over Nyorai. She knew what that meant. The next morning, the entire village gathered at the council grounds, a sacred space where disputes were settled. Nyorai stood before the elders, her face lined with grief and fear. Chief Gamba sat on an elevated wooden throne, flanked by the village elders. His gaze was heavy, his voice deep. Nyorai, the village believes you are responsible for your husband's death. Do you deny it? I swear by the spirits of our ancestors, I am innocent. Nyorai pleaded. Kundai folded her arms. Then prove it. Shomba stepped forward, his voice dripping with false concern. Chief, tradition has shown us the way. If she speaks the truth, she will survive the trial of fire. If she lies, the spirits will take her. The crowd murmured in agreement. The widow's trial was feared by many, an ancient ritual where a widow had to drink a deadly abo mixture. If she survived, she was innocent. If she died, it proved her guilt. Elder Jemba, a wise but silenced voice, shifted uneasily. He did not agree with such trials, but his influence had waned over the years. Chief Gamba sighed heavily. Then it is decided. At dawn, Nyorai will face the trial of fire. Tears streamed down Nyorai's face as she was dragged away. The following morning, the villagers gathered in the ceremonial square. A pot of boiling herbs was prepared by the village herbalist, but Nyasha, the young healer, noticed something off. The mixture was stronger than usual, it would surely kill Nyorai. Nyasha's heart raced. She had to act fast. Nyorai was forced to kneel before the pot. Chief Gamba raised his hand. If she is innocent, she will live. Nyorai closed her eyes, whispering a silent prayer. Then, she took the gourd and drank. Silence. Seconds felt like hours. Nyorai's stomach twisted, her vision blurred. She collapsed. The crowd gasped. She is dying, someone shouted. But before anyone could declare her guilty, Nyasha rushed forward. She needs air. Kundai scoffed. Let the spirits decide. Elder Jemba stepped in. No. If the spirits wanted her dead, she would be gone already. Nyasha, now emboldened, knelt beside Nyorai. This mixture was tampered with. Someone wanted her to die, guilty or not. A hush fell over the crowd. Nyorai gasped, struggling to rise. She was alive, but barely. Chief Gamba narrowed his eyes. Who would do such a thing? Shamba and Kundai shifted uncomfortably. The real fight had begun. That night, Norai's son, Tafara, overheard a conversation outside his home. Hidden behind a clay pot, he saw Kundai and Shamba whispering. "That widow should have died today," Kundai hissed. Shamba grunted. "I paid the herbalist well to make sure she wouldn't survive. That foolish healer ruined everything." Tafara's eyes widened. He ran as fast as he could to Elder Jemba's hut. The old man listened intently, nodding. "The spirits have given us the truth. Now, we must bring it to light." The next morning, Elder Jemba called for a village gathering. Norai was accused of murder, Jemba began. "But last night, I learned a truth that will shake this village." The crowd leaned in. Tafara stepped forward. "I heard Kundai and Shamba say they poisoned my father." Gasps filled the air. Kundai's face turned pale. "Lies." Nyasha stepped forward, holding a pouch. "This is what killed Mombo," she said, displaying a powdery substance. It was not sickness. It was poison. Shamba lunged at her, but the villagers restrained him. Chief Gamba stood, his face dark with anger. "So you plotted against Norai for land and wealth?" Kundai broke down. "It was Shamba's idea." Shamba snarled. "You were just as eager." Chief Gamba raised his staff. "Justice must be served." Under the eyes of the ancestors, Shamba and Kundai were sentenced to exile. Norai, once condemned, was now seen as a symbol of strength. The villagers lowered their heads in shame. They had almost let tradition destroy an innocent woman. Elder Jemba stepped forward. "We must change. A widow is not a curse. A woman is not to be blamed for things unseen." A new dawn had come for Gandhira village. With her name cleared, Norai chose a new path. She was offered a place in the village council to ensure no other woman would suffer the same fate. As she stood before the village, Tafara by her side, she spoke. "I was condemned by culture, but freed by truth. May truth always lead us forward." The village cheered. Justice had prevailed. And so, a new story was written, not just for Norai, but for all women who had been wronged before her. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for part 2, also like, comment, and subscribe.